today I'm going to review Army lower standards so women can graduate Ranger School from a 21 convention. So a lot of you red pill guys probably have seen these guys before. Uh, Pretty interesting. They always have some good speakers on there, and they're like pretty blunt when they speak. So I have not watched this video. Let's watch it together and let's see what kind of stuff they're talking about over here.
Two female soldiers have completed the Army's Ranger School, a grueling test of mind and body. Only the toughest survive. David Martin.
The Ranger school training, I think you can only, from what I've read, you can only rival that with the Navy SEALs, like the David Goggins, what he went through. I heard that one and then this one right here are the two most difficult. And from what I understand, no females have ever been in the Navy, and I think in the Ranger school either. But it looks like it's different now.
And with the women who made history.
This is a little of what it took for Captain Chris Grice to become one of the first two women to make it through Ranger School. First Lieutenant Shay Haver is the other to survive the 62-day course, which subjects soldiers to nearly constant physical and mental.
62 days, and they're probably on their asses all day long for those 62 days. Tough.
Stress on little food and less sleep. Ranger School is the make or break proving ground for the Army's combat leaders, and it breaks more than it makes. 19 women started the course, only Grice and Haver made it to the end. 380 men started, only 94 finished. The Army refused to officially.
Bro, that's like a 25% completion rate for the men, and for the females, they said 19 and only 10% completion rate.
Identify either woman, in part to shield them from snarky comments which began popping up on social media. Some don't bear repeating, but cracks like, what standards were lowered? Did they only have to do one pull-up? Were typical. Despite the Army's attempt to protect the two West Point graduates from publicity, their friends could not help bragging on them.
The social media age now, so they just straight up blasting these two Ranger School graduates.
The Army insists the women had to meet the same standards as the men, and in the brief glimpses the media was allowed of the training, there was no sign of going easier on females. When they graduate on Friday, both men and women will receive the coveted Ranger tab. But unlike the men, Grice and Haver will still not be eligible to serve in elite Ranger regiments or other ground combat units. That might not make any difference to Haver, who is already an Apache helicopter pilot. Grice belongs to a military police unit.
The debate over women in combat is not over yet, but these two young women have broken one of the toughest gender barriers in the military, and it seems only.
So I guess the obvious question now is, did they legitimately break it, or was it like more political correctness going on?
A matter of time before the remaining barriers come down.
Terrence Popp here. I'm going to answer a question that I've received many times in regards to Ranger.
So Terrence Popp, I've heard his name circle around the manosphere, right? But I've never actually heard anything of his stuff.
Ranger School and all of these women that have graduated from the course. I'm just going to be honest. Ranger School for me was the hardest school I had ever attended in my life in regards to grueling. Back when I did Ranger School, somewhere in early 1990, you could find me on, my picture. If you go down to the lower right, I'm the concentration camp victim. And I went from 168 pounds, I was shredded, probably had 5% body fat, to 136 and just fucking wrecked. All right. I was an alpha company all the way through, and those guys were sadists.
Man, this dude lost like some 20 pounds. I can only imagine how difficult that Ranger School is. I mean, the toughest thing I've done is like the police academy. That was that was pretty tough. I'm pretty sure these guys get, like 10 times worse than whatever they did to us.
And they just went way beyond any reasonable standard that should have been followed, for there to be any quality learning from it. It was just, in my opinion, a lesson in how to.
I think I missed that part. I'm gonna rewind it, guys. It says something about 4 dead. A night of confusion and fear in which 4 Army Ranger candidates died. Dang. So I guess they were going too hard on them. Probably either got some hypothermia or some anemia. For So I guess they were trying
There
to
to be
look too hard.
any quality learning from it. It was just, in my opinion, a lesson in how to deal with mental and physical fucking punishment. Looking back on this, how physically demanding it was and how psychologically fucking crushing it was. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around these women that are graduating Ranger School. Now, am I going to tell you that it's impossible? No, but I find it highly improbable, especially that 38-year-old woman, mother of 2, that made it through Ranger School. Fuck no, that is absolute bullshit, unless they are watering down the standards to the school to the point where it's just gonna become like a worthless fucking school you go through to punch your ticket, like Airborne School is today.
Yeah, so my opinion on that is those tests, they're not only meant to be physical, from my understanding, of course. I'm not too well educated on all that, but it's also like psychological too. Now, I have seen where there's when you got to take some exams for certain jobs. I have seen like the recruiters, they don't expect like the females for, like, for instance, for the push-ups, they don't expect them to go all the way up or all the way down. Like at the police academy, uh, they would get on the men. It would seem like they would get on the form of the push-up. With the females, they were doing like, like those that aren't real push-ups, just barely dropping. But
Because back in the 50s and early 60s, Airborne School was a fucking ass kicker. And it made you mentally and physically tough to become a paratrooper, taught you the skills of jumping out of a bird. And when you went to your fucking unit as a paratrooper back in the day, you were a force to be reckoned with.
man, those guys are just freaking badasses, freaking jumping out of planes, going straight to the war zone, man. Crazy. Those are men, man. I heard a quote. I don't know who said it. It says, either join the military or feel like a coward the rest of your life, right? Well, as far as what they're actually fighting for, some people question, like, are they really fighting for the U.S. or is it for like globalist interests and stuff like that? That's a different topic for another day.
And apparently that's what they're doing in Ranger School with the standards today. Now, I have not been sent anything, in hard copy in regards to this, or I would have written an article and I would have dropped the dime myself and I would have sent it to the media. But I have been contacted from RIs that were in, I believe, Ranger School for the first 1 or 2 women that graduated. And then I was contacted by another RI who has since retired, who was there for the 38-year-old woman. And all of them have told me there was absolute bullshit. Their hands were held through the entire fucking thing. A couple of them were allowed to recycle every fucking phase. One of them was allowed to recycle day 1 recycle to start over, which is almost unheard of. I believe I know 2 guys in my.
So this guy's just tearing up that whole credibility, right? And this guy seems to be an insider, which honestly, I do believe that it's true. If you guys haven't seen that, the Army commercial, the one that they put about out about Emma and her two moms. It's just all political correctness, right? So once again, dangerous precedent, putting political correctness over standards and traditions. Not saying traditions shouldn't change, but when it comes to your country's military, do you really want to let emotion or political correctness go above logic? That's unfortunately that's where the demise of a nation comes in. You know, like right now, they're putting PC political correctness over army standards. They're putting PC political correctness when it comes to the jab, because now the doctors can the doctors aren't allowed to speak up, and now these army insiders, they're telling us now, right?
My entire military career, they had a day one recycle and made it. I hope that there's some guys out there that actually watch my show that actually have any hard evidence on this, because I will drop the IG bomb. I will fucking write up whatever it is and send it to the media, and the active duty fucking people can chase me all they fucking want.
Man, this is why I love the red pill space and the manosphere, because like dudes like this, they just speak up, right? Whether you agree with him or not, that shouldn't be the case. I think every fundamental human, as a human, you should know that we have a right to free speech. To me, it's just common sense, you know. Maybe to you it's not. I would like to see maybe some comments, if some interaction of why you think freedom of speech is not just, it's just a base. To me, it just seems like it's a basic human right. It's common sense. And to me, if you want to, like that saying they say, if you take away tongue, it's not because he's a liar, it's because you're afraid of what he has to say. I think we all grow as humans with an open speech, open debate, no hate, but everybody's just better for it. Whoever, if you're wrong, you're just gonna learn something new, right? It's not about being right or wrong. It's about learning something new. Seeing a different perspective. You agree with it, then you agree with it. If you don't, then you don't. And now it's a little like, I don't understand how people right now are putting PC over open debate and logic. I hate that. I think that's the downfall of a society and a nation.
Retired, fuck them. If a woman wants to be an infantry fucking grunt, guess what? You better be able to fucking run the fucking required distance in the fucking required amount of time. You better be able to carry your 12 miles in 3 hours or less, and fucking deal with all the weapons that you have to deal with without any undue whining and complaining, and certainly no fucking quitting. I mean, my course was 78 days long. That's just the standard Ranger School course. Their course was 47 to 58 days long. I was also reading another article in regards to a senator that was requesting these same green books from these female rangers that graduated Ranger School, and they basically said, "F you, we don't work for you, we work for the president." Imagine that.
Okay, there's a lot going on right there, but yes, the senator apparently is trying to do, his due diligence, and he's getting just shut down by the federal government. Bro, I don't know if you're paying attention, but the federal government is stacking up their power, and that's one of the beautiful things of the United States, those independent states, but the federal government, if you ask me, is way out of line right now. They're just completely power grab, power hungry mode. Like they don't let so I guess the federal government is saying, okay, fuck you to the senator, you don't get to see this stuff. Imagine.
They keep files on all these Rangers going back to 1950, but these females who graduated Ranger School, so I'm told, their records are gone. How am I supposed?
Just like those Trump ballots. Just fucking disappeared in thin air, right?
Supposed to fucking take that? I don't know. And another thing that was told to me, that these women were allowed to go back to the rear to take a shower and do personal hygiene every third day for like, I believe they were gone between 2 and 6 hours. All right, so you're going through the hell of Ranger School, which is designed to be a long, grueling process.
They get a nice little shower break in between. Bro, that sounds relaxing. But obviously, obviously they're getting a break, and these other guys, they're probably still, hazing them, and these females are just back there taking a shower.
This to wear you the down.
If you guys are interested in like this stuff, like warfare and then men, women, and all that, I highly recommend the book by Jack Donovan, The Way of Men. He just, if you have questions about like masculinity and all that stuff, read that book. Highly recommend. It just changed my mind. You got to check it out. He talks about the differences between men and women in our roles in society. Highly recommend.
And then see if you can fucking make it to the end. When you're in the field, there's no showers. Maybe you get to fucking, sponge off your fucking pits and your
She just went on the way down. That looked pretty cool.
ass once every blue moon when you're on the water detail to go down to the river to get some fucking water for the patrol. But other than that, that's it. There is no fucking break. Hell, there's hardly any fucking sleep. I mean, God. I mean, I don't want to be that guy. It was like, back in the day when it was hard, because I talked to guys who went to Ranger School during Vietnam, and I talked to guys who went to Ranger School during the Korean War, and, what they went through was, probably a good 30 to 40% more difficult than the shit I went through.
They look like they're doing some badass training. But yeah, that's another thing, guys. It's not only that they're lowering the standards for women, just in general, they're lowering the standards, to, I don't know if it's hard because it's harder recruiting people. I don't know if it's just intentional to have a weaker force. Who knows?
Just, comparing, apples to oranges. But, I mean, my course was 78 days long. That's just the standard Ranger School course. Their course was 47 to 58 days long. So my course, though, I believe it was a little easier. I had an additional 20 some odd days stacked on top of that. That's before the recycle and the gulag time and the 21 days of Ranger that the regiment.
Yeah, guys, so those are my thoughts, and when it comes to this subject, once again, my aim is to have an open debate with people that are like-minded and interested in this kind of stuff right here. Maybe we could grow as a community and just learn as individuals. Right? Okay, so I hope y'all have a blessed day. God bless. Take care.